In the heart of Lusaka's noisy streets, Naledi Ramatu stood with a basket of roses she had bought on borrowed cash, hoping each bloom would bring her a little closer to surviving another day. She faced the harsh heat with a weak smile, trying to catch the attention of people rushing past her without ever seeing her. To many, she was just another young girl trying to sell something, but inside she carried a weight far heavier than her basket. Every coin she earned went toward caring for her mother, who could no longer walk, and toward keeping their tiny room from slipping out of their hands. Some nights, Naledi went to sleep with nothing in her stomach, but she still woke up determined, ready to try again. On one ordinary afternoon, she stood at her usual spot, speaking softly to strangers who never slowed down. Her voice blended with the city noise, and disappointment grew with every passing minute. Then an expensive black vehicle eased to a stop in front of her, catching her off guard. A well-known businessman stepped out, Tabane Molef, a man with a reputation for being cold and untouchable. People rarely approached him, yet here he was, staring at a girl almost invisible to the world. His eyes scanned her tired face, her worn shoes, her hands cracked from long days of work. Instead of brushing past her, he asked her something no one had ever bothered to ask. That simple question made her freeze, and suddenly every struggle she held inside pushed its way out. She spoke about her mother, their debts, the hunger she hid, and the fear of losing everything. As she talked, something shifted in the man listening to her. Her words reminded him of the life he once lived, one filled with struggle, long days on the roadside, and a dream to escape. Seeing her shaking with worry, he gently told her to come with him. She hesitated, unsure, but his calm voice made her trust him. He took her to a quiet place to rest, offering her water and space to breathe. The more she talked, the more he remembered the boy he used to be. Her story touched a part of him he had locked away. He visited her home, saw how hard her life truly was, and made a choice that changed everything. He covered their rent, bought equipment for her mother, and gave Naledi a proper job with steady pay. Soon the city whispered about the powerful man who helped a girl selling roses, while Naledi stepped into a new life with hope she never thought she would feel again. People think she's just another street vendor, someone they can walk past without noticing, but Naledi carries worries that would break most people. Every morning she wakes up before the sun, checking on her mother who cannot move without help. She lifts her gently, cleans her, feeds her, and whispers comforting words even when her own heart feels heavy. Their small room is barely big enough for two people, yet she works hard to keep it because it is the only place they have. Rent is always late, and every month she fears the landlord's knock, knowing she has no savings and no one to rely on. When she steps outside with her basket of flowers, she hides all her pain behind a small, polite smile. People walking past her see only a young girl trying to make a little money, not someone fighting to survive. They do not know how many hours she spends helping her mother before standing in the heat to sell flowers bought with money she still owes. They do not know about the nights she goes hungry so her mother can eat. They do not know how many times she prays for one good day, one kind customer, one moment of hope. Yet despite everything, she keeps going. She talks softly to strangers, offering her roses with gentle hands tired from carrying too many responsibilities. Some people glance at her and quickly look away, thinking she is just one more face in the crowd. Others ignore her completely. But Naledi keeps trying, repeating her lines because every sale means her mother can be cared for one more day. Under her calm voice hides a girl terrified of losing everything she loves. Sometimes when she returns home with hardly any earnings, she sits beside her mother and tries to smile, pretending things will soon get better. She does not want her mother to feel like a burden, even though the weight of their situation rests entirely on her young shoulders. She dreams of a life where she can work without fear, where her mother receives proper treatment, where she no longer struggles alone. Even when exhaustion pulls at her, she refuses to give up. The world may see a simple street vendor, but inside her lives a strength shaped by love, sacrifice, and endless hope that one day someone will finally notice her, not as a seller on the roadside, but as a girl fighting with everything she has. Naledi stands at the same corner every day, holding her basket close, hoping someone will finally notice her. She lifts her voice again and again, trying to sound cheerful even though her throat feels dry and her feet ache. She calls out to the people rushing by, trying to get their attention, but everyone seems too busy to look her way. Vehicles roll past her, splashing dust at her feet, and drivers glance quickly before focusing back on the road. Each time a car slows down, her heart jumps with hope, but it speeds off again before she can even smile. The hours stretch on, and the sun sits heavily above her, making sweat run down her face. Still, she stays in the same place because she has nowhere else to go and no other choice. She holds each flower carefully, trying to keep them fresh even though the heat is harsh. Every person who ignores her feels like a small cut, but she pushes on, reminding herself that she must keep going for her mother waiting at home. She practices her words in her mind, trying to sound polite and gentle, because she knows kindness is all she has to offer. People walk past her with shopping bags, phones pressed to their ears, or eyes fixed ahead. Some glance at her for a second, then quickly look away, pretending they never saw her. Others shake their heads before she even speaks. Naledi feels invisible, but she refuses to let that break her. She shifts her weight from one foot to the other, trying to stay strong even when disappointment fills her chest. Sometimes, she looks at other sellers on the street and wonders how they manage to smile through long days just like her. She wonders if they also hide their struggles behind brave faces. When a small breeze passes, it cools her for just a moment, and she whispers a quiet wish for one person to stop, just one kind soul who might help her make enough money to buy food for the night. As the day continues, her hopes rise and fall with every passing moment. Yet she keeps repeating her offer, her voice soft but full of determination. She knows she cannot give up. Even though nobody pauses, even though the world seems blind to her presence, she stands there with courage, holding on to the belief that someday someone will finally listen. And that moment could change everything for her and her mother. A sleek black SUV pulls up beside her corner, its dark windows reflecting the busy street. Naledi pauses, unsure if she should speak or stay silent. The vehicle looks expensive, the kind only powerful people use, and she wonders if it will drive away like all the others. But instead, the door opens slowly, and a tall man steps out. People nearby recognize him instantly. Whispers start, heads turn. Even the fast-moving traffic seems to slow for a moment. It is Tabane Molef, young, wealthy, feared by many. His name alone makes business owners nervous. Stories about him travel across the city. Deals closed without mercy, decisions made without emotion. A man who never bends for anyone. Most people keep their distance from him, knowing he rarely smiles and never shows softness. His suits alone look like they cost more than some people earn in months. Nobody ever imagines him stopping for someone selling flowers on the street. Naledi feels her heart pound. She clutches her basket tightly, unsure what to expect. She has never spoken to someone like him. His presence feels heavy, the kind that fills the space around him. Yet he looks directly at her, not past her like everyone else. His eyes move from her tired face to her worn shoes, then to the wilted flowers struggling in the heat. There is no anger in his expression, but there is something intense, something she cannot read. People nearby slow their steps, watching with curiosity and disbelief. They expect him to complain, order her to move, or ignore her completely. After all, someone like him would never stop for a girl who earns a few coins a day. But he does stop. He stands in front of her as if the noise of the street no longer matters. Naledi tries to speak, but her voice breaks. She is afraid of saying the wrong thing. Tabane notices her shaking hands, and the way she tries to hide her nervous breath. For a moment, the tough image he carries slips, and a flicker of something gentler appears in his eyes. He studies her like he is seeing someone he has not seen in a long time. Someone struggling the way he once struggled. The world around them continues moving, but the moment feels still, almost unreal. A powerful man known for strength and cold decisions has stopped his life for a girl standing on a dusty roadside with a basket of roses. And no one, not even Naledi, understands why. Tabane looks closely at her, noticing every small sign of struggle she cannot hide. Her shoes are torn at the edges, the soles almost peeling off. Her hands show marks from long days in the sun, fingers rough and dry from carrying baskets and working without rest. Her eyes tell the rest of the story. Eyes that look older than her age. Eyes that have seen too many hard days. Eyes that try to stay hopeful even when life gives her nothing. He has seen luxury, wealth, power, but he has not seen a gaze like hers in a long time. Instead of brushing past her, he steps a little closer. His voice, usually firm and sharp in business meetings, becomes gentle without him even noticing. He asks her a question so simple yet so deep that Naledi freezes. No one has ever cared enough to ask her anything more than a price. He looks at the flowers in her basket, then at her again and speaks softly. "Who are you selling these flowers for?" The words hit her harder than she expects. For a moment, she cannot speak. Her throat tightens, and her hands tremble slightly. Nobody has ever wondered about her life, her reasons, her pain. People only see her as someone trying to make a little money, never as a girl carrying silent battles. His question feels like a hand reaching into a place she has kept hidden for too long. Naledi tries to answer, but emotions block her voice. She looks away, blinking fast to stop tears from falling. She is not used to someone noticing her struggles, let alone someone powerful. She wonders why he even cares. He could walk away, get back into his expensive car, and continue his life without ever thinking of her again. Yet he waits patiently, watching her with an expression she cannot understand. She finally manages to speak, her voice low and shaky. She tells him about her mother, her challenges, the weight she carries alone. As she speaks, she feels something strange, relief mixed with fear. She has never opened up to a stranger before, especially not to someone like him. But his question unlocks everything she has been trying to hold inside. People nearby pretend not to listen, but they are stunned. They have never seen this man speak gently to anyone, especially not a poor girl selling roses. And as Naledi continues sharing her truth, the city noise seems to fade, leaving only her trembling voice and the quiet attention of a man no one expects to care. Naledi tells him everything she has been holding inside for so long. She explains how her mother cannot move on her own, and how every morning begins with lifting, cleaning, and feeding her before she even steps outside to work. She speaks about the small room they live in, a place nearly falling apart, with rent always behind because she never makes enough. She shares how the landlord threatens to push them out, how she hides the fear in her voice when she comforts her mother, pretending everything is fine. As she talks, her words shake, but she keeps going because once she starts, she cannot stop. She admits that some nights she goes to bed without eating, choosing instead to save whatever little she earns so her mother can have something warm. She tells him how difficult it is to buy medicine, how she sometimes cries quietly in the corner of their room, so her mother won't hear. She explains how she stands in the sun for hours, hoping someone will buy even one flower to make the day a little easier. She says it all in simple, honest words, not asking for pity, just telling the truth she has carried alone. Tabane listens without interrupting, something unusual for a man known for speaking more than he hears. With each sentence she shares, something begins to shift inside him. Her voice touches a place he has kept locked away, a part of him he thought had died when he left his past behind. He remembers selling small things on the roadside as a child, remembers counting coins to help his grandmother, remembers the hunger that used to twist in his stomach. Hearing Naledi talk brings all of that back, like a door he never wanted to open suddenly swinging wide. For the first time in many years he feels a warmth he almost forgot, empathy. It appears slowly at first, then grows stronger with every word she speaks. Her tired face, her shaking hands, her courage to keep going despite everything. All of it moves him in a way he did not expect. The powerful man who rarely shows emotion stands quietly, his chest heavy with a feeling he thought he was too hardened to ever feel again. He realizes that this girl, standing barefoot on a dusty street with a basket of roses, is living the kind of struggle he once fought through. And in that moment, something inside him refuses to look away. Tabane asks her to get into his car, and the moment the words leave his mouth, Naledi freezes. Her heart jumps with fear. She takes a small step back, gripping her basket tightly as if it can protect her. She has learned to be careful, to never trust easily, especially when someone powerful suddenly shows interest in a girl like her. Her eyes widen, and she shakes her head slightly, unsure of what he really wants. She has heard stories of people being tricked, and she cannot risk anything happening to her mother at home. Seeing her reaction, Tabane raises his hands gently, his voice calm and steady. He tells her he means no harm, that he only wants to help her, nothing more. He speaks slowly, in a tone she has never heard from him before, soft, patient, almost protective. The way he looks at her carries no anger, no pressure, only concern. People watching are surprised. They have never seen this man speak kindly to anyone. Naledi studies his face, searching for any sign of danger, but all she sees is sincerity she cannot understand. After a long moment, she nods, still trembling. He opens the car door for her like she is someone important, someone he respects. She steps inside carefully, feeling out of place in the clean, comfortable seat. Her hands stay clasped together, her basket resting on her lap like a shield. Tabane gets in, closes the door, and drives only a short distance. He does not take her far, just around the corner to a small cafe where people go for quiet breaks. When they arrive, he guides her inside and chooses a table away from the noise. A waiter brings water, and Naledi stares at the glass as if she has forgotten what it feels like to sit and rest. Her voice is quiet when she thanks him. She takes a slow sip, letting the cool drink calm her nerves. For the first time in a long while, she is sitting in a peaceful place, not a dusty sidewalk. Tabane watches her with a gentle expression, noticing how tense her shoulders still are. He wants her to relax, to understand she is safe. He tells her to take her time, to breathe. As she sits there, the weight of the street lifts from her just a little. She can finally feel her heartbeat slowing down, the fear fading. It feels strange, almost unreal, to be treated with kindness. And even though she doesn't fully trust him yet, something inside her whispers that maybe, just maybe, this moment could lead to something better. As she speaks, Tabane finds himself drifting into memories he thought he had buried forever. Her voice, soft but full of struggle, pulls him back to the days when he stood beside his grandmother under the hot sun, trying to sell fruits to people who barely noticed them. He remembers waking up before dawn to help her push a small wooden cart to a crowded roadside where they spent long hours calling out to strangers who rarely stopped. He remembers the feeling of counting a few coins at the end of the day and pretending it was enough. He remembers the hunger that made his stomach tighten, and the sadness in his grandmother's eyes when they returned home with almost nothing. Listening to Naledi, he feels those old emotions rise again. Her story is almost a mirror of the life he once lived. The same fear of not making enough, the same pressure to stay strong, the same hope that tomorrow might be kinder. She does not know it, but every word she shares hits deeply inside him. He sees himself in her tired smile, her gentle way of speaking, her quiet strength. She reminds him of the nights when he lay awake on a thin mattress, wishing for a chance to change his future. She reminds him of how hard his grandmother worked to keep him in school, often skipping meals so he could eat. For years, he pushed those memories away, building a hard shell around himself as he climbed to success. He told himself he had to be tough to survive, to never show weakness, to forget the life he came from. But now, with Naledi sitting across from him, those walls start to crack. He cannot ignore the truth. He was once exactly where she is now. He knows the look of exhaustion she carries. He knows the weight of responsibility. He knows the pain of feeling invisible to the world. As he watches her sip her water slowly, he feels something shift inside him. It is not pity. It is recognition. He understands her better than she realizes. Her determination, her love for her mother, her fight to keep going despite everything. These things reflect the same fire that once pushed him forward. In her, he sees the younger version of himself, the one who dreamed of escaping a life of struggle. Naledi has no idea how much her honesty affects him. But Tabane knows one thing with absolute clarity. He cannot walk away from her story. Not now, not after everything she has unknowingly reminded him of. Tabane asks to meet her mother, and Naledi hesitates, unsure if it is appropriate. She worries about exposing their small, humble home to a man so rich and powerful. But he reassures her gently, saying he only wants to understand and help. With a mix of nervousness and hope, she leads him through narrow streets to their tiny room. As they step inside, the air feels heavy with both struggle and resilience. The walls are bare, the floor creaks under their steps, and every corner shows how little they have. Her mother sits quietly on a worn chair, eyes lighting up slightly at the sight of someone showing kindness, though she cannot speak much. Tabane looks around, taking in the small bed, the modest furniture, and the lack of medical equipment. He sees the strain of long nights without proper care, the exhaustion etched on both mother and daughter, and the effort Naledi puts into keeping things together. For a moment he does not speak, absorbing the reality of their life, the hardships she had shared, now visible in every corner of the room. It is a sight that would have moved many, but for him, it awakens a deep sense of responsibility, a desire to change something for the better. He takes action quickly. Without hesitation, he pays their rent for the entire year, lifting the constant worry of eviction from their shoulders. Then, he purchases medical equipment to ensure her mother can live more comfortably and receive the care she desperately needs. The relief in Naledi's eyes is immediate. She feels a weight lifting that she has carried alone for years. She had only hoped for small kindness, yet his generosity goes far beyond her imagination. Finally, Tabane turns to Naledi and offers her a job at his flower export company, a position with a full salary, security, and dignity. For the first time, she can see a path that will allow her to care for her mother properly, pay bills, and live without constant fear of hardship. Her hands tremble as she accepts, the hope she had barely dared to feel now becoming real. As they leave, Naledi feels an overwhelming mix of gratitude, relief, and joy. The world that once ignored her has suddenly shifted, offering opportunities she never imagined. Tabane watches her with a quiet satisfaction, knowing that his intervention will change their lives forever. This small act of noticing a girl selling roses turns into a life-altering moment, proving that compassion, even from the most unexpected person, can transform everything. Weeks later, the streets of Lusaka are buzzing with stories about the millionaire who paused his busy life for a girl selling flowers. People talk in markets, on buses, and at cafes, amazed that someone so powerful would notice a street vendor. His act of kindness spreads quickly, becoming the talk of the city. Everyone wonders what made him stop, what he saw in a young girl who once seemed invisible. For many, it is a reminder that even the smallest gestures can have a huge impact. Meanwhile, Naledi's life has changed completely. She no longer stands in the scorching sun, hoping someone will buy her flowers. Instead, she walks confidently through a large greenhouse, rows of vibrant plants stretching around her. She knows the value of every bloom, because she has worked hard for years under difficult circumstances. Now her work is respected, and her efforts are rewarded with a steady salary. The fear that once shadowed her days has disappeared, replaced by hope and purpose. Her mother, once confined to a small, cramped room, now rests comfortably in a well-equipped home. Medical equipment ensures her health is monitored, and she can move with greater ease. Naledi no longer worries about unpaid rent or empty stomachs. She can finally give her mother the life she always deserved, providing care, warmth, and comfort without hesitation. The relief she feels is immeasurable, a joy that spills over into every action she takes. The greenhouse has also become a place of pride for Naledi. She manages workers, organizes deliveries, and even helps plan the sale of flowers to distant cities. Every day, she witnesses the fruits of her labor. Seeing the flowers she tends brighten someone else's home or event. She feels a deep sense of accomplishment, knowing that her struggles were not in vain. Each smile she brings to a customer reminds her of the journey that started on the dusty street corner. People still whisper about her story, but now they also admire her courage and determination. Naledi has become an inspiration, a symbol of resilience, hope, and the power of kindness. Her transformation shows that life can change in unexpected ways when someone truly notices you. From a girl with nothing but a basket of roses to a confident woman managing her own future, Naledi proves that hope, combined with compassion, can turn even the hardest struggles into extraordinary success. If you enjoyed Naledi's story, don't forget to like this video, leave a comment telling us your favorite part, and subscribe to our channel for more inspiring African tales. Stay tuned for the next story that will warm your heart.